This brings us to Game 4 of Team Dolphin Lords versus Team V in the Reddit Team League. What can you tell us about these two players? Vequeth, we have Zukarakox, the Yellow Protoss, and Zar, the Orange Terran.
If you give me a minute, I'm just going to look them up on ladder.
Sure thing. We'll talk about the map while you do that. Delta Quadrant's a fun map. A lot of bases everywhere, as you can see on the minimap. Cross spots is very good for a macro game. Like, you've got the back door, which, I don't know, it's kind of vulnerable against Terran, because, again, medevacs are just so strong. The dropship can just be anywhere and drop 4 Marauders, and it'll kill a Nexus in 10 seconds. So, I don't know, I see Terran Protosses actually take the front base before the back base, depending on what kind of build you decide to do. We'll see what they choose to do. With these positions in this matchup, I think it's going to go to a macro game. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 base versus 4 base at some point in time.
Yeah. Now, Zukarakox is about 1400 on the ladder. I could not find Zar's rating, sadly. Zukarakox, he does very good in the Reddit community. Like, you generally see him, if he plays, he ends up in at least the semi-finals of a tournament. Now, the last game I saw him play was, I think it was against Red Alert, and Zukarakox just has, the problem that many Protoss has is that they're just terrified of the Terran Bioball, and they do not rate their own units or their own ability as a player to be able to counter it, and they end up just completely, well, what I feel, overreacting at the moment they see Bio, and ultimately, because of that, Terran can gain an economic advantage and just win by using Bio.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, one of the things is the thing we were talking about a while ago, which is this 3-gate build that I use, that if you tell people about it, they're like, what? You know, you attack Terran before, you know, there isn't a proxy or a cannon rush, you know? Like,
yeah.
It just sounds bad just because Terran Bio is so highly rated. But, I mean, cross positions right now, so Zukarakox has to be feeling some kind of comfort going on with his play, and he's being able to use all his chronos on the probe right now.
Definitely. I really like these positions for Protoss. As Protoss, I like maps like Xel'Naga Caverns, where it's just, you're very far away, you can take your natural. I really like 2-base play, PvT. Recently I've been doing, I spoke with you the other day about this, the 1-gate Nexus build, where really, I was exactly how you're describing Zukarakox here. I was terrified of a bio ball, like, and I'd kind of paint myself into a corner. Like, I'd be so afraid of it, I'd expand late, and then because I expanded late, I wouldn't have enough to actually fight it, and it would just get cyclical. But really, I think Protosses would benefit from finding like more aggressive builds with interesting timings, like the 3-gate you mentioned, or like a really fast expand, or just some kind of build that doesn't like disrespect the Terran, but kind of puts the onus on the Terran to really like punish you for what you're doing.
Yeah, I've got a lot of noise in the background at the moment, so do you want to take this for a couple of minutes more?
Yeah, sure thing. So very standard stuff so far. We do have the Robo. Protoss, again, as Vequeth mentioned, is probably afraid of what Terran's doing. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Observer chronoed out. A 3-racks play, so we're probably going to see a very early 1-base, not an all-in, but just a very strong timing push against the Protoss. It's a very common Terran timing. He'll probably use his units to knock out this backdoor and expand behind it. It's very strong, very tough to deal with. Ways to deal with it, it really depends on his composition of Marine versus Marauder. Usually you see 2 Tech Labs in a reactor, or just 2 Tech Labs in a normal one. If he goes for straight Colossi after this, like 1 Observer and then a Colossus, or even just skipping the Observer, no, he's going to get it. He can do well enough with Colossi, because when you do this 3-racks, your tech is super delayed. You're not going to get a factory for a very long time. Wow, that's a Ghost Academy. We'll get back to that in a second. As I was saying, your Vikings are very delayed, and especially reactor Vikings. So Colossi have a window where they're very strong. They can defend, they can counterattack. You can get a lot done with them just because Terran took so long to tech. Now, we have a triple Tech Lab Ghost Academy. He's going to have a tough time producing out of all of these, unless he switches to Marines out of some of them. I'm guessing he's going for an EMP. This will be very interesting to see. He's definitely taking a chunk out of his army size by getting the Ghost Academy. May end up hurting him in the long run. He does have Stim on the way. He does have Concussive finished. this Nexus timing is, I don't know, this is what I was talking about. Like, you're afraid of the very early aggression, so you get a couple of units up and then you build a Nexus, but, oh wow, canceling it. Exactly, I mean, it's not up quick enough to really take advantage of and stop the first Terran push. We do have a force field.
I think a misclick by the Terran. He's built a Protoss, he's built a second observer.
That's interesting. I don't know, maybe he wants to keep an eye on the Terran base. Did he see the Academy? He didn't see the Ghost Academy, so he can't be worried about cloaked units. He knows it's 3 racks. No, the observer really needs to be moving in. Oh, it sees the Ghost now. Got a single Zealot Valiant working away on the rocks back there, but really this army isn't that threatening. If he got an Immortal out, a couple more Warp Gate units, he could push it away.
I don't even think he needs the Immortal. I mean, he could sit at the top of this ramp with this force field. I mean, maybe a couple more Zealots, and he could just take this out. As long as, I mean, now that the Ghost's here, he needs to mind out how he clumps his units.
Yeah, so, he can definitely defend, but I don't know if you saw it, he built a Nexus in his natural, and I think he may have been able to defend it if he had macroed a bit more, just a bit differently. I'd like to see a force field behind. Very nice, going to get all these Marauders for free, dealing a lot of damage, getting that supply advantage. He's up 26 right now. Hopefully he can capitalize on this. He's going to get the rocks down soon. He's going to build a Nexus. He's going to be in pretty good shape here. Observer's keeping an eye on the army.
It's quite an interesting fake out, actually. Like, I like that he expanded his Nexus, although Terran didn't see it. And now he's going to expand to the back, so if Terran didn't see it, then it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, wow, look at this unit count. Protoss has definitely been gearing up for an expand for a while. I mean,
he's got 37 probes. He's going to have
harvester
a
count.
very nice transfer. So the command is going up. Terran's conceding. His push is not going to work, so he's just going to take this to 2 base, which is to be expected.
I mean, on this map, I definitely expect to see some sort of drop play.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that earlier, and I really prefer the front expo to the back expo here. I mean, it's so explodable. You can put tanks up there, you can just drop Marauders back here, and if the Protoss' army is anywhere but in his main, even if it is in his main, you may still, with a good stim, kill the Nexus.
Yeah, the moment you put that expansion down, you have to start gearing yourself up for Banshee tank, just Marauders and a dropship, you know. So
exactly.
He needs to put an observer there, maybe, and a couple of cannons or something.
Yeah, and I think the problem with going an even 2 base, like both of their 2 bases are going to come up at the same time. The problem with this is now Turn is free to get Reactor Vikings out, and once that is on the map, Colossi are much weaker. You have to be super on the ball. Like if you let your Colossus get away from your army, which happens a lot when you go like around a cliff, your Colossus will just go straight across. And if the Terran's smart, if he's scouting well, he'll see that and just kill your Colossus for free, and that's 300, 200 down the drain. And that's really what you need to kill the bio army.
But I mean, at this point, where the observer's over the army, he sees lots of ghosts. He sees very few Marines, and it's mostly Mortar. I would definitely advocate Stargate Phoenix and just Corona them out. This would work wonders against his army, because as soon as the medevac comes out, it's going to die to the Phoenix, because there's nothing that can stop it. And the Viking, they I believe through priorities, they shoot Phoenix before Colossi.
I could not agree more. I really like that. But here we may actually see a bust on the front door. No forward pylon to reinforce, but this is still quite an army.
Range just finished for the Colossi, so this should be very good. But it comes down to how this Viking deals with the Colossi. The second one is coming out, but
I think the issue here is going to be the Zealots having a tough time getting up the ramp. They don't have charge. There's going to be a ton of units here, and they're just going to bunch up on themselves and get splashed by the siege tanks, slowed by the Marauders,
and EMP'd by the Ghost.
And EMP'd by the Ghost. Is he going to go for it? He's teasing it. He wants the Observer to see what's up there. He wants to confirm that it's safe before he actually moves in. Colossus is going to try to snipe. You're going to get hit by these 9 range Vikings. Oh wow, whoa, kind of overstepping his boundaries here. Very ballsy play. And by being this far forward, I mean, it's rare to move that far forward, in my opinion, unless you intend on just going for it, because he ended up not attacking, and if there had been a medevac out, which there very well could have been, there could have been Marauders in the back, I mean, and his army was so far away. Yeah, that's a very good eye. charge on the way out. Very smart against this Marauder heavy play. Third base going up, I really like that.
Yeah, but you have to say to yourself, okay, so I'm getting charge with Colossus, that's Zealot Colossi. What is that going to do about the Viking problem?
That is exactly right. And yeah, if you're getting Zealots, you're going to have that extra gas. I really like the idea of adding Stargates. I think in the future, like a year from now, PvT is going to have tons of Stargates. No, maybe not tons, but it's going to be very common to see Stargates, at least 1 or 2. Once the game reaches 2 or 3 base, you've got a lot of gas to play with. Gateway units aren't that gas heavy. Like, you don't... Sentries kind of lose their value once you have, like, I don't know, like 100+ supply army. They're still good, but they're not as good. So yeah, you can throw that gas into Phoenixes and just stop the Vikings.
I mean, in PvT, I'd say sentries are still quite good. I mean, really, I'd say one of the only uses is just keeping the mortars off your Colossi.
That is true, but if you're Zealot heavy, you don't want to be fully blocking the Marauders away from your army.
Yeah.
I think it gets really difficult to use sentries once you have this mixed melee ranged army.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Terran's plan is here. He's going very bio-heavy.
Let's look at the production tab, second from the right. I'm going to zoom in on this, hold on. Yeah.
This should be fun.
This should
Ladies and gentlemen, we have nukes.
We have a nuclear bomb. It is being produced. Is he going to drop it in the back? That would be just devastating. Is he going to hit the front? I don't even know. This is going to be crazy. But I need to comment on this double forge. That is Protoss saying, hey Terran, you're not going to attack me for a while. You're going to take your third, you're going to macro up, and then we're going to attack like 24 minutes into the game, and I'm going to be 2-2. And it's going to be insane.
Yeah, upgrades are still highly underrated in this game by average player. Definitely. And Protoss' ability to chrono boost their upgrades, I feel, isn't used enough.
I definitely agree. I really love, once I get this 3-base economy up, you've got tons of chrono, and chrono is hard to use on warp gates because it makes your like cycles uneven. So I like to put it on the forges, and double forge, if you can afford it, is just insane. You can get your upgrades out just unbelievably fast.
I think we are going to see a 200-200 battle here. At least it's going to be 200 for the Protoss, definitely. So with Stargate finally going up, I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. Maybe a mothership, because it's a bit late for it to be any sort of Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah.
Going back to the comment about the Phoenix play, really, I hadn't completely considered it in my main Protoss army until there was an interview with OGS Spunky, who's the manager of Team OGS in Korea, and he said that the main reason that Koreans thought that Protoss was greater than Terran in Korea was that the Protoss ball, consisting of mostly Stalkers, some Zealots, some Sentry, about 4 Colossi, and about 8 Phoenix, was just impossible to stop. And we have a drop from the Protoss in the far left-hand base, and I think it's going to be Storm, because Caradan army is nearly done.
Well, here's the problem. He's maxed out. He can't actually warp anything in.
Oh wow, maybe it's something to do while he's attacking.
Perhaps once he loses an army. Oh boy, is he going to attack now? No. Storm just finished. I don't know how many Templar he is. 4 Templar, bringing up the rear.
I know. I think he's got quite a big army, but EMPs could seal this off. His tanks aren't sieged.
Yeah, a few tanks
all clumped up for the Storm.
This is going to be it. Huge attack. Guardian Shield's going up. Storm's going down. Colossi firing. Zealots charging up. Colossi not firing. What are they? There they go. Wow, that is just insane. Terran is just getting rolled over right now. Protoss played this very intelligently. There's the GG. Wow.